What you getting done today, bro? Definitely need to cut.
This right here.
So you want to cut it down the top?
And then on the sides, keep it low, like a 1 or 2.
Like a 1?
Yeah.
So you don't want like a ball taper?
No, not a ball. What's this right here? What is that?
That right there looks like it faded down to a ball taper.
On the side, yeah, like right here.
Okay.
And then in the back as well.
Okay, but you want it to kind of like come out like that a little bit, like that shape that you have there.
I don't want the curls to start until like right over this.
Ah, I see. All right, cool. We can do that. Let's do it. What's up, YouTube? How's everybody doing? Thank you guys for checking out another video. So you heard the consultation. We're gonna do our best to create the haircut that he's looking for, and we're gonna start off with mostly creating shape. And I'm doing scissor over comb for most of this, just because his hair is really curly, and I'm not gonna pick it out. I'm not gonna wet his hair. I'm gonna leave it in its natural form and focus on shape over length. Shape over length. And what's gonna happen is once I've created the shape that I'm looking to create, then I'll wet his hair. That's what he confirmed to me that he does typically on a daily basis, because curly hair, it shrinks so much once you add moisture to it. It's very important not to cut off too much. If you have a certain length in mind, that's gonna get you in trouble, because it's really hard to achieve that length the first cut, especially after you wet the hair. Every curl has like a life of its own, right? So I'm focusing on the shape, and even when I wet his hair afterwards and I've determined that's the length he likes, I'm still focusing on the shape. Alright, so now we're gonna wet the hair. I'm gonna add some leave-in conditioner as well, just to add some moisture to his curls. And when I looked at the shape, it just looked like right here in the middle, it was a little too long. So I just focused on that area just to get it a little bit more flat. And once I've done that, I confirmed that he was good with the length. And now we're gonna focus on the taper. And you can see how much shorter his hair looks now that it's got some moisture. It's starting to air dry. You can see it looks a lot shorter than it was when we were cutting it dry. Alright, so I'm using my number 3 for my foundation and then doing clip over comb, because remember, he said he didn't want it to start curling till it got closer to the top of the side of the head. And that's what we're doing. We're really focusing on that kind of wedged shape. This is my number 2 open and my number 2 closed. And what I did right before I used that number 2 was I created my guideline. That way I have a start to finish. Underneath that number 2, we're using a 1.5 guard. It's all the way open, and then 1.5 guard closed. We'll follow up beneath that with the 1 guard open and then closed.
Damn it, Tito.
And then the half guard right beneath that. Shout out to my cousin Tito for making these beats. There's a link in the description if you guys want to get Tito's beats. There's a link in the description. All right, so we're starting off closed now and opening it little by little till the taper is done. This is what you do after you use the half guard. He's gonna fade the beard in. And one of the things that I asked him was, how low do you want the fade to go in? And he just said, just kind of fade the sideburns in, that's it. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and do the back. And what I'm doing is I'm using the 1.5 guard and then kind of freehanding the shape. It's not going to be perfect. We're going to have to clean it up afterwards with number 3 and all that stuff. But at least it's going to knock out the bulk and give me an idea of what I'm working with. Alright, and just like we did on the other side, we're using that number 3 guard to go ahead and clear the bulk, especially on the side of the head, because remember, he wants that wedged shape. He almost wants it to curl just beneath the parietal ridge. All right, and in the back with that, after that 1.5 guard, I'm using that number 3 to clear a bunch of that bulk. And we skipped the number 2, and we're going ahead and clearing the bulk with the 1.5 guard and starting to blend down with that 1 guard open, because that's what's right beneath that 1.5 guard. Then the 1 guard closed. As you can see, if you're paying attention to the lever, guys, on the clipper, you'll be able to know, when the lever is all the way down, it's all the way open, the blade. When the lever is all the way up, the blade is all the way closed. Right beneath that 1 guard, we're using the 1/2 guard. As you can see, it's all the way open because the lever's down. And if you see me jump up a guard, it's just because either I created a line with the guard right beneath it, or there's some bulk that I need to spread out. I need to stretch the blend out a bit more. All right, above that number 3 guard, I'm doing clipper over comb, focusing on shape. And then this is pretty much the last step. We're gonna do the blade. We're gonna go ahead and put the initial guideline in, followed up with the shaver, and then start to take that bottom line out using the clipper all the way closed, opening it little by little until it's blended. And at this point, the blade is all the way open, and you can see it's almost blended already. If there's still a little bit of like darkness or line or something like that, you hop up to that 1/2 guard and it'll complete the blend, as you can see. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and do this left side, and I'm going to let you guys follow along since we've covered 2 sides already, and let me see if you guys could follow along between watching the lever and the color guide on the bottom left corner. Alright, so right beneath the ear, we did the 1.5 guard with the grain, and we'll probably do a number 2 above that, as you can see. And again, that's to create that wedge shape and keep it really tight on the sides, especially above the ear, but below the parietal ridge. Alright, and for the mustache, he just told me he wanted to trim it down. He didn't want it as skinny as in the picture, so we are going to leave it natural, but he did want to bring it down some. Alright, and I'm focusing on, again, that wedge shape from the front profile, and then we're also going to trim down the little hairs, the baby hairs that are at his hairline, just so that he can catch a really nice lineup. I don't want it to look like it's super disconnected, so I only did just enough to where the hair will catch a good line. And then for his beard, we just kind of trimmed it a little bit, just made it look groomed. All right, and what I did was I sprayed like a medium hold or high hold hairspray on him, just to kind of hold his hairs while I'm lining him up. All right, and then with the line up in the front, I'm starting here in the middle and I'm working my way to each corner and just kind of trying to connect it to the vertical bars here. And when you see me doing trimmer over comb like that, I'm just trying to get, you know, any hairs that want to hang over the hairline. I'm trying to, you know, trim those off. Same thing on this side. We started from the middle, worked our way over to the vertical bar. And he wanted me to disconnect his mustache right there in the middle, so we went ahead and did that per his request. And now we're going to enhance the cut. So I like to use overspray and I don't like to overdo it. I'm doing a black brown right here. What I usually will do is from a distance, as you can see, and like half of what I'm spraying is going on the card and the other half is actually going on the skin. But that way I can kind of manage how dark it's coming out. And if you want it darker, you can just add some layers. You can kind of layer it on. But I like to start off with a little amount and then, you know, kind of gauge it and make it darker if I feel it needs to be. All right, and I'm using my blending shears here just to kind of detail the blend a little bit more. But I'm loving the way that the taper is, you know, going into the shape of his hair gradually. It's not like disconnected and then long hair. All right, we're following it up with the 245 triple cartridge razor, the limited edition green. And right there, I was just kind of freehanding with the razor. Any hairs like kind of curling up on the hairline. All right, and now that his hair is nice and dry and has natural coils to his curls, all I did was freehand any of the like scraggly hairs that are coming off the curls with the shears. Guys, you saw the before, look at the after. My man's was lost, now he's found. Shout out to JP for that quote. You guys can see a distinct difference in his shape, his curls. And I think the cut came out dope, man. If you're new to the channel, just know, guys, we drop every single day. So make sure you subscribe. Hit the like button. Let me know in the comments what you thought about the cut. And this is where you see the shape for real.